Welcome to this series all about property investing for beginners, and we have 31 modules here that I'm going to go through with you step by step on how you can start your property business. In this training, we're going to discuss setting investment goals for the short term, for the medium term, and for the long term so that you get success in property. So let's discuss this right now, and let's start right at the top in terms of your investment goals. Now, when it comes to investment goals, there's short-term goals, medium-term goals, and long-term goals. So what I would suggest is get a piece of paper right now and write down and make 3 columns for yourself. So your short-term, your medium, and your long-term. Let's think about your short-term goals right now. Now, when it comes to your short-term goals, it's about understanding what is it that you really need. Do you need income right now? Or do you need capital that's growing in the background? That's a capital gain. Now, of course, we want it all. However, which one is more important? So for example, let's say you work for a firm and you're getting paid £150,000 a year. Well, you have a nice income coming in. Yes, you would like more income through property. However, that's not really your first requirement because the income is already coming in. But let's just say in that instance, you wanted to sack your boss. You wanted to make sure that there was security for you in case you lost your job and there wasn't another contract. You get my point? Well, then what's really important is that you build something in the background for you where it has capital appreciation. So you've got large chunks of capital. You could call this a real pension. So that's building up for you in the background. Now, conversely, let's say you're in your senior years and you haven't really got a good pension. There isn't any income coming in. Of course, your priority now is going to be on properties that are going to create more income for you. So in your short-term column, which is more important? If the income is more important, let's say it's more 80% you desire income and 20% is capital growth. Well, then you'd write 80-20 in your short-term column. And conversely, if it was the other way around, it was 20% income that was important to you, and what was more important was building a pot in the background so you got that safety net. Well, then it'll be 20% income, like what I say, and 80% it'll be capital growth. In this way, whatever your ratio is, just write that down. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. Whatever comes from your gut feel right now is good enough. That's the key with this. So just write that down for yourselves right now. Now, be rest assured, coming up in some of these trainings, I'm going to be sharing with you which specific strategies work for income and which specific strategies work for capital. But right now, just write that down for your short term. Now let's discuss your medium term. So right now, you're property investing and you're beginning and starting your journey. As you develop this, as you get good at this, as you get further insights and further knowledge, and you start to apply this in real life, you're going to find that you're in a completely different place than you are right now. So you started in property, you had your strategies and your income and capital ratio. Now you may find that you got more income coming in and or you're going to have more capital. So your strategy will then start to change. Now what do? Well, now it's time to diversify your portfolio. Diversifying your portfolio doesn't necessarily mean that you're investing in lots of different areas. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're buying lots of different types of stock. What does diversification really mean? So let's discuss tenant profiles. So for example, you might have tenants that are in their older years, they're in their senior ages, and they want to live in a bungalow, for example, let's say. So you will find that they're, let's say, living in a coastal area, they're living in a bungalow, and they'll have that bungalow rented from you for really the rest of their life, which means you've got no tenant voids and they're comfortable in that place, if I'm making sense. Conversely, you might have young professionals that are looking for flats or apartments in a larger town. And with those, you know that you can command a premium when it comes to rental, for example. And you may have properties in smaller towns like we have. You may have benefit tenants where you've got areas that work so well where the benefit tenants actually pay you the market rent. And the market rent isn't coming from them directly, it's actually coming from the council. So what have you done in these 3 different specifics I've shared with you? You've diversified your portfolio, haven't you? Now, in your midterm plan, you will factor these types of scenarios in. Now let's discuss your long-term goal. So when it comes to long-term goals, it's all about the exit strategy. What is your intention? Are you going to buy and then sell the properties? Are you going to buy and hold them? Is it going to go to inheritance? And what is the way that you're going to mitigate the taxation? Because as you become wealthy, because you're jumping in right now, as long-term plan, you're going to become an extremely wealthy person. So how are you going to mitigate that taxation? Is it going to be inheritance tax that you're going to mitigate? Are you going to sell those properties? So it becomes understanding your exit strategy for the long term. So today, as you are starting, we've already discussed your short term, your medium term, and your long term plan. You have some further insights And now you're thinking about how can I actually put that information in for your short term and your medium term and your long term. Action for you is to start thinking about what you want to achieve in the short term, what you would like to achieve in the medium term, and also start thinking about right now what your exit strategies are going to be as well. So what you're doing is you're professionalizing property investing, and you're doing something that many people don't do until they're further down the line. However, you're being strategic, you're being professional, you're doing this right at the beginning to understand what your short-term goals are, what your medium-term goals are, and what your long-term goals are as well. Now, please keep in mind that we're successful property investors and developers foremost. And because of this, I'm sharing with you the insights on what actually works right now in real life. And I don't want you to miss out on anything. Now, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, well then you may miss out on some of the information that I'm going to be sharing. And these 31 modules are all in order for you to get started in property. And to assist you, what I would suggest is that you subscribe to our channel right now if you haven't already. Now's the time to do this so that you get the latest notifications, you get the latest training, and you can start in property. It's Cam Dwighty helping you take your property investing to the next level.